Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Workplace Wanderer. I felt a little creepy, right?
Yeah? Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say something.
Let's start again.
I'm
Welcome
just
back, everybody, to another episode of the Workplace Wanderer.
I was kidding. You didn't sound creepy.
And I felt creepy.
Welcome, everybody, to the next episode. To the episode.
If you're not here to learn, turn it
Get
off.
out.
Get out. Yeah. What's up, Kara?
What's up, Blake? Nothing much. Just chilling. It's raining here.
It's raining here as well.
Yeah.
I am coming out of a 2-week wormhole of working on finals. So this is actually my week off of school. So I'm in between stats, man. Stats got me.
Oh, I love statistics. That's a weird, dorky thing to say, but I don't know. I bet you're starting to like it more.
Yeah, I totally gained an appreciation for it. It was the final was really tough. It wasn't the math. Because at the doctoral level, you don't learn how to do the math. You're not plugging into equations and stuff like that. You're collecting data and then interpreting data and then reporting it.
Yeah.
And it has to be reported in a very specific way. Like it's like another language. So that's what was such a challenge with doing the final, was having to go back and look and find like exactly what is the sentence, what has to be italicized, has this little symbol, what is, like, it has to be very specifically done.
Never mind. I forgot about all that. It's been a very long time. I don't like that anymore. I just like, I like the air of superiority understanding statistics gives you.
Oh, okay. You just like the ego aspect of it.
I'm sorry. What was the sample size? I don't think so.
That sounds more like a correlation than causation.
That causation doesn't sound like correlation. Yeah. So what happened there? I don't think so. Who paid for it? Conflict.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, which was actually really enlightening, was half of the conversation we had throughout the semester was on the ethics of statistics and how often,
I love that.
How often, especially as workshop presenters, we present skewed data that we twist to fit our narrative.
Yeah. I remember one time I was in corporate America. I was in a room with, I don't know how to not get somebody in trouble for this, but I was in a room and people were talking about data, and one of the leaders was like, "No, I don't like that. go change that so I can tell a better story." And like the analytics person was like, "Okay."
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a little view that everything is BS.
Yeah. I mean, everything is sort of marketing and sales and branding. It all comes back to that. But if you want to report data accurately, also, it's not very palatable. If I tell you,
for sure,
increased managerial support is correlated with increased work engagement. Okay, that makes sense. But if I tell you the full story, it's like, according to 344 Turkish nurses at a small hospital based in Budapest, like, managerial support in the form of blah, 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 blah. Like, so it's really hard to report accurate data in a way that's still appealing.
Yeah, I know. That's interesting. That's also like the research too of, we've talked about this a little bit about how like neurodiverse people are not included in research because they make the results all wonky, right?
Right.
So it's like most of the research that you're consuming is on neurotypical, for the most part, sample sizes, when a lot of people are not neurotypical. So then does it actually represent the population? And then you have, like the gender differences. It's just like, if you really were to try to take a pure sample that represented the population, it would be very hard to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's really very tough. We talked about it too. I think they call it WEIRD, which is an acronym for something, but it's basically that it's like white, educated, something, 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 but it's a very specific population that is typically is participating in these studies. Mm-hmm. So it makes it really tough to translate, although it can sound really good. And usually you probably can apply it, but it's also tough. You don't know for sure.
Yeah.
What have you been reading? You're always reading something.
I know. Well, I just finished this book. I was telling you, it was a little bit of a bro book. It was on like AI and leadership. It was all right.
Oh, you just finished that one?
Mm-hmm.
So it
It
did
was
turn out to be a bro book because you were saying it
I
wasn't as bro
was
booky as you
I
thought.
wasn't as bro booky, and then chapter 3 we started with the blockbusters and the Steve Jobs and the Uber examples, and I was like, all
Mhm.
right, here we go. But there were some things in it that I don't know. I just think people in our profession have to like really like think about AI because it's not going away. It's just a calculator. We've already talked about this to death, but
Yeah.
then I'm trying to do this thing where I'm reading something else in between. So I'm reading this book called Braiding Sweetgrass, and it's this woman, and she's just kind of like talking about like Native American heritage and the way that like she sees the natural world. And then she also became a botanist. And so she understood the scientific, but like realized that like all the scientific study of botany is like leaving out the artistic and the poetry of it. It's a really beautiful book. So that's what
Hmm.
I'm cleansing my palate right now with
Nice.
braiding sweetgrass, and it's been nice.
I mean, it sounds like you should do that every once in a while. You can't always do stuff that is very thought heavy.
I
My,
know. I'm weird. I'm just a weird reader. Like, because I get it, because it's like it's usually like a result of my obsession. So I want to know everything that there is to know about a topic, and then I get in this deep hole where
yeah.
I'll go read everything that I possibly can. And I think it's insecurity based or something. I don't know what's wrong with me. But then, like, to slow down and to read fiction, like that it just takes. But if I find a
Mm.
fiction series, then I don't sleep. So I have a my relationship with reading is complicated.
Well, I understand what you're saying. Why do you think it may stem from insecurity? Where does that thought come in?
I I think because I have like a like I mean I'm older now so it's different, but especially when I was younger, like I have like this personality that people don't naturally take seriously, and I've always looked like very young,
Mm,
right? So it's like my appearance, that sounds like a humble brag, but it's not. And I don't look as young as I did when I was in my 20s. Like when I was
yeah.
20s, I looked like I was 15. Um, so it was like in my head, and it was probably more in my head than anything else. I was like, I didn't think people would take me seriously, and I was always in these rooms where it would be like a lot of like middle-aged guys that like I would have to get them to that place where they stopped looking at me like a little girl.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think that there's power in being like, I read this study and this is what the result is. I read these books and this is what this means. I think it can help you with your confidence. And I mean, I've always been a reader, but I think when I was in corporate America, just having a lot of knowledge in my toolkit,
Hmm.
it helped me get my points across.
Okay. Right. So you can back it up with education. So it felt like it was just armor you were putting on
Mm-hmm.
a bit.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the idea of valences?
No, tell me more.
So a valence is sort of a projection that we project out to the world. So it's a role that we play, and we often play these roles in different scenarios or different situations. Whether it's at home, we have a work valence, we have a home
Mm.
valence, we have a party valence, whatever it is.
Okay,
But
yeah, I get it.
it's the role that we play that we tend to project onto other people. And then something called projective identification happens, where then the person starts to see us as the role that we're projecting. And usually it's rooted in some deep level of insecurity that, in your example, I am pretty young and not I have a personality that is not taken seriously. So people must not take me seriously. So I must educate
Mm-hmm.
myself and I'm insecure. And then suddenly we look for signs in people that they're treating us that way. And then ultimately, somehow psychologically, they end up matching up with that valence and they do start treating us that way.
Yeah,
And
interesting.
so it's usually somewhere inside us, we're projecting this role that we shouldn't be taken seriously. And despite all this education we have and we present it to people, we have to be careful, not to not to present these valences at time, or at least be aware of them and know how they look when they pop up.
You know what's interesting too is that like if I think back of on my like younger self, right, of like little KK in her 20s, like marching around all these car dealerships, it's like my advice I would give to that girl is to like calm down and just be yourself. Because really that's when I started finding success, is when I like just showed up and I was my authentic self.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I mean, you're right. It's like those insecurities totally, I mean, they get in your way. That's a human condition.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's I think, by the way, I think we all have that, where if we can go back in
Hmm.
time, we would tell ourselves to be
Oh
more
my God.
authentic.
What would you tell yourself in your 20s? Well,
Um,
I mean, maybe after.
this is going to be such a bro response, but I would say buy Bitcoin. Buy more Apple stock, buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Uh, but
I asked
seriously,
I asked my husband that question the other day. I go, would you, if you had the choice, would you go back to high school or college? And he was like, high school, buy Bitcoin.
I mean, it's a real thing. It's okay. This is an insight into a man's mind. Okay. And maybe women do this too. I don't know, but
Bitcoin.
I can tell you with 100% certainty that most men fantasize about getting an opportunity to just get in a time machine and go back 10 years and just loading up on stocks and crypto.
I think wait, hold on. This might be transformational. Do you think it's the influence of Back to Future on this generation of millennial men?
Because of the sports almanac where they were able to go back
Hmm.
and make bets. Yeah, I mean 100%. That's where probably the idea stems from.
Like, how much of your identity do you think comes from Back to the Future? Like, if you are a millennial man.
I don't think much more than the urge to go back in time. And also, every time I go 88 miles per hour, I think I'm about to travel
Okay,
back
so
in
it's
time.
more, right? There's a time traveling obsession. It's like
Okay,
going back and
whoa.
investing in something.
I never said obsession. It's just a thought, that a daydream.
How many times a day do you think about time traveling?
Okay,
Because
that once, at least once a day.
once a day.
Every
Okay.
time I check the stock or Bitcoin price.
Also, how many times I ask this because I see this in my children and also my husband, how many times a day do you think about this versus this would win in a fight? Like
Um,
bear versus cheetah or Superman versus Thor.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say every day. I would say though, when I am with my group of friends, this is a common conversation.
Yeah.
The would you rather or what would
Hmm.
happen if is very common. For example, I go on these camping trips every year with 3 or 4 friends, and 90% of the conversation are ridiculous scenarios where we're trying to see what would happen if we played all the way through.
Yeah. And maybe that's like men's way of being able to like bond and have, we all are probably different, but a lot of men struggle to like have deep conversations with each other. So maybe it is those. No, I'm just messing with you. I don't know, Blake.
No, you're right. Like 70% of the conversation is ridiculous. And then we do have some deep talks that's then quickly ruined by a joke or
Yeah.
something inappropriate happens or someone passes gas or like, like that's definitely, you turn into little boys. But I
Yeah.
think that's really healthy for men is to
Yeah.
go, we get back in touch with our imagination. We're detaching from technology. Like it's a good time.
I think it's always just hard for like girls, whenever the guys go away, to be like, y'all don't, you didn't talk your friend's getting a divorce. Like somebody's like just lost their dad. You didn't talk about these things. Why don't y'all talk to
Okay.
each other?
This is where I have more feminine traits though, is that I do ask
Yeah,
questions. And I
that's
do
true.
typically, I'll go into all of that. Like, I need to understand all the details.
Yeah.
And then I do report them all back to my wife.
Yeah. Oh, that's
So
so nice.
yeah,
That's a gift.
I've gotten to the point where I'm honest though. And I'm like, the people say, don't share this with anybody. I'm like, I'm going to share this with Chrissy.
Yeah.
Like she will know. I cannot keep this from her. She's my best friend. Like we tell each other everything.
Okay, so I wanted to spend some time, if you don't mind. I want to talk about your TED Talk experience.
Cool.
And in the spirit of synchronicity, because we always need to be paying attention to that, I had someone call me yesterday, and it was one of my good friends, and she got accepted for TEDx Raleigh. And like everyone, they're like, "Oh my God, I don't know why they chose me. What am I going to talk about? I don't know if I can do this." And I was like, "You're going to be fine."
Yeah, it's a full
I've
panic.
never I've never done one, but we're talking about this tomorrow on the pod, and we'll give you some tips, and you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, where do we want to start? Let's get ourselves in the mind frame. We need to talk to somebody who's thinking about doing it, and
Okay.
maybe what they can learn through your experience.
Okay. Definitely. So if somebody who's thinking about doing it, my suggestion is to shift your expectations into how easy it is to get accepted into one and
Mm.
realize that you will end up applying to a bunch. And you want to be smart about applying to them all over the country. I know somebody who recently did one in from New York, recently did it in the Philippines because they just applied everywhere. And then they're flying to to London now to do a second one. And so there are thousands of TEDx events being organized all over the world. And you want to find ones whose theme really matches what you plan on speaking about.
Oh, I didn't even know they had themes at each
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
That's a good piece of advice.
So ours, for example, was Elevate. So it was how
Okay.
can we elevate our workplaces, basically, was the approach or the thought. And of course, the talks are loosely associated with it, but organizers from the back end, I can tell you, the organizers told us that they were looking for ones that fit the theme. Secondly, I would suggest to make sure that your topic isn't a motivational talk.
Mm.
It's not you getting up there talking about yourself. It is much more, you can have storytelling about yourself, but you want to present a big idea or refurbish an idea that already exists in through a new lens. But make sure it's something that you're passionate about, that you can speak to authentically. And I only say that based on my experience of applying to probably 100 different TEDx's over the last 7 years. And
Yeah, I can
every,
imagine. Sorry to interrupt, but I can like the amount of prep work that you did for that. Just like me hearing it on the cusp is like you really probably have to be in love with that topic, or it's going to get boring really fast.
yeah, but they'll also, like, if you're looking to get accepted, they're also going to read right through you if it's something that's disingenuous or that
Mm,
you're trying to please them by presenting a topic you think they want to hear.
interesting. How do they do that?
I'm not sure. The other piece I'll say is that do not present a topic on being authentic. Seriously, don't do it. We had someone from TEDx give
I
us some
wasn't
insights.
expecting that. Sorry.
No, but it's dead serious. Like, find another way to present it. Because we
Okay.
had somebody from TEDx basically say to us, you have no idea. Like, we don't even want to show them anymore because
Wow.
everybody wants to talk about why you should be your authentic self. It has been done thousands and thousands of times.
Oh,
So
I
it's
could
like,
give a I could give a talk on not being your authentic self in corporate America and how people need to talk about that more.
that would be a fun idea. Like, if you could make a parody of it, though,
Yeah.
like, just why you should never be authentic and just make it a complete joke.
Well, my girlfriend and I talk about this all the time is that like authenticity works for a certain type of person. But
Mhm.
if you are not that specific type of person in corporate America, then I mean, be you, but make sure that you trust the people around you to be you around because like if you get a label, it is so hard to rebrand yourself in a company once people start labeling you. So like people don't hear enough in corporate America that you have to be in charge of your brand. Like you
Yeah.
are managing yourself as a company And that is in direct conflict with this
Mm.
message of just like your whole self at work. It's like, no,
Well,
a
I
little bit.
agree 100%. And I think why that's actually bad advice to be your authentic whole self is that it disregards the truth that we have many whole selves and many
Exactly.
authentic selves. And you shouldn't be who you are with your friends, fully at work. Like they should be shades of each of you all within the different selves, but you have to have a professional version of yourself and know to how to have some form of barriers between the different versions of you. We all have multiple selves.
Yeah. Okay, so don't talk about being authentic. That's
Just
so
don't let that be your topic. But make sure it's something that you love, that you want to present on, and that matches the theme. And know that it is going to be your world for the next however many months.
interesting. Okay, how many topics did you have swirling around in your mind? Because I can imagine just from knowing you that there's probably a lot. And then how did you come to the process of prioritizing and figuring out that one that you wanted to talk about?
Okay, so I had presented a ton of them over the years.
Yeah.
And admittingly, one was why you should be your authentic self. Um, I will admit that. But then when I heard them say that, I was like, the TEDx people, I was like, who would
You're
do
like,
that?
straight God, well, that's so stupid.
Idiots. No, but over the years, but when it got down to where I was like, you know what, I think for some reason the timing feels right for me. Now I feel like I really have a chance. I had my original topic was not what I chose, and I busted my butt. So you have to do a description, a title, and then a 2-minute pitch was my
Mm,
audition process. And the 2-minute pitch has to include what you're going to talk about and the storytelling and showcase that you're a decent speaker. So my whole thing that I focused on up until a week and a half before my actual audition was about the hidden leaders within our organizations.
ooh, love
And
that.
yeah, and it was super cool, like went through history of like highlighting the guy who invented the post-it note. And there was a person behind the scenes with Martin Luther King that no one ever talks about. But if it wasn't for him, none of the marches would have ever have happened. And so the impact of hidden leaders, and it was a super interesting, like, but it was like a history lesson, and I loved it. But I was doing it because I thought other people wanted to hear it, and I thought it'd be interesting for other people. And it wasn't
And that's
until
not the mindset you should have.
no, it
Is
is
like, okay, sorry.
no, it wasn't going to feel genuine to me.
So it has to be a combination of feeling genuine to you, but also like something that's going to be salient to an audience.
Yeah, totally,
Okay.
totally. So you want to hit on both parts, and because there's a passion, an unfelt passion
Mm-hmm.
that you have when you're discussing a topic that you love. So about a week and a half before, I just was like practicing it and just didn't, I don't know, it felt fine. It was okay. And I don't know, something hit me where I was like, what if you talked about playfulness and laughter at work and silliness and joy? And like, I just felt that, like that spirit light up. And within like
Mm-hmm.
2 hours, I had my 2-minute pitch written. I
Oh,
had
I
all of
love
this stuff
that.
done, and it felt so natural. And some of the feedback I got from the judges that were doing the choosing were like, you just lit up. You can just tell that you love this topic. So that's why I say make sure you're picking something that lights you up, that people, if I'm interested, you're going to be interested.
Yeah. Okay, that's good advice.
Okay, then comes the acceptance, which is where your friend is now, and the imposter syndrome
Yeah.
of like, I was so excited and proud of myself for pitching.
Mm,
When the acceptance email came through, it was like, oh no, what did I just get myself into?
that's
I
what I
can't do
feel
this.
every time I land a job, and I've been doing this for 4 years, and that feeling has still not subsided.
That means you care. Can we say that?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go with that.
Go read another book, Kara. You'll feel better.
Okay. I'm on it.
Yeah. Do you know the story of Blockbuster? I want to tell you about it. No. So that comes the imposter syndrome. And frankly, like we lost a couple people throughout
Wow.
it that were like got accepted and we're like, no, 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 never mind. Thank you though.
Oh, that's actually that's a powerful story.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I haven't thought about that. Of like, it's like you can do the work to get there, but then you psych yourself up so much once you're there that you just have to
Mhm.
drop out. That's interesting that that happens.
We lost people throughout too.
Wow.
Like over months or like a month out, somebody was like, I'm not ready, never mind.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so what I would suggest is to make sure, like your friend already did, is lean on supports and have people process that with you and encourage you along. And it is becomes now a very massively
Mm-hmm.
iterative,
Iterative. Iterative.
good one, iterative. Why can't I say it?
Iterative. Iterative.
Iterative.
I can't even start. We get it. Iterative.
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 I'm not even making a joke right now. I'm trying to say it. Am I having a stroke?
Iterative.
Iter,
Iterative.
iterative. Okay,
Iterative.
got it. Thank you.
Got it. You're welcome.
And so you then start writing, you start researching, then writing, then rewriting, then rewriting, then rewriting. And
I think that that's actually kind of cool for people to hear, though, is that like you don't have to have the thing completely done before you apply. Like you
so
can do it. Go ahead.
I will tell you actually, some require a rough draft to apply.
Oh.
So it all depends on what you want to look up the requirements too. Most of them just require a good, strong description, learning objectives, and a 2-minute pitch, usually filmed or in person.
That's cool though, because I think that I don't know. I've never applied to it before because I don't have like the idea completely baked, right? And that's probably something that gets in my way is that I have to have it like completely in my mind what it would be like before I would ever go to apply. But now knowing that you don't have to have it completely baked in some places might make that barrier to entry lower for someone like me.
Isn't one of your philosophies is sort of like lead with action, like to start and just see what happens afterwards?
Yeah, those who cannot do teach, though. I've told you this.
Okay.
I am in a perpetual state of getting over my own shit.
Yeah, I know. I get it. Okay. Don't worry. Right there with you. Yeah. So I guess it just depends on what they are looking for now. This is another thing that we learned is that they want stuff that is backed by research, that is evidence-based. And if you are going to talk about anything medical, you better be prepared to back it up.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, just FYI, they are
Just so they're
very
not.
serious.
I wonder how many excuse me. I wonder how many grifters are in there trying to
I think a lot because they
talk their weird health stuff.
I had to submit to the organizers about 25 different research articles. And they never had to submit them, they told us, but they let them know once as they submit each video, they say within 2 to 3 days the video will be posted unless we request research or evidence. So like you are going to have to back it up what you're saying by research with research.
That's
And
cool. That's good to know.
the trick comes in of taking the research and using it to create storytelling.
Mm.
So I definitely suggest getting a good TEDx coach. There are a lot of really good coaches and like ones that specialize in that because it does have to have like the initial hook, the story, the data, the story. You know, like there is a flow to it, but also don't be afraid to get creative with it and have fun. And then practice. Like legitimately, I must have practiced my talk hundreds of times and not just at home. I bought a red circle rug
Wow.
for $20 online on Amazon. I practiced on the circle. It's not only to replicate the feel of doing it on this red circle. The red circle actually exists because that's where the camera sees you. That's like, that's your staging. So you got to make sure if you're a pacer, you're staying
Mm.
within that circle. And you want to practice, because I can tell you that most people's experience, including mine, was like a total blackout once you're on stage.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about. Is that like, even with all of that prep, do you just, I mean, how do you cope with not forgetting everything that you want to say? Like, I mean, that's the fear, anyways, that we have to get over as public speakers. But I
Mhm.
can imagine it's that much more pronounced whenever you're in that setting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. You have a time limit, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
You have a script now that's fully memorized.
Oh
Now,
my gosh.
some do allow teleprompters, but most don't. So it's a fully memorized script. I've also seen some that have people have note cards in their hands, but those, they don't look good when you do that. So your best practice is full memorization. And it's really scary when
Yeah.
you're up there, because that was the whole thought. I had it down packed. I was doing it when I was walking my dog, in the shower, driving. I had it down. Then you get up there, and I swear to you, it was like, I don't know the next line. Oh my God, I don't know the next line. But there was so much muscle memory there that it just came out. And
Yeah.
there's a picture of me for mine. I think I told you this, but the picture of me, that's my thumbnail for the actual talk. And I have this big smile on my face, and I'm throwing the confetti in the air. At that moment, I don't remember anything other than I was trying to convince myself not to pass out. Because
Yeah.
I got the tunnel vision, the face tingles, all that stuff. And I have no idea how my body knew what to do, and it took over. So practice.
Yeah. I mean, I got really lucky in my career where I public spoke from like the day I stepped into corporate America, right? So I've had so much practice, and a lot of, I mean, that's just not a normal situation that you get that much practice, right? Like sometimes if people ever give me a compliment, I'm like, thanks. I fucking should be. Like
Yeah.
I effing should be good at this, and I should probably be better to the point that you're not surprised. But that's another
Yeah.
topic for another day. But literally every time I get on stage, I black out. Like if people tell me
Oh,
anything,
really?
like yeah, like I don't know what it is. It's because I get nervous, but then I'll get a survival zone where I just
Yeah.
go on there and put up a performance. But I don't know. It's weird. I dissociate.
It's, do you react when people say like, that was great? And you go, really?
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. No, I will tell you that this is, I don't care how much of a seasoned public speaker you are, because I've done, I don't know, hundreds,
Yeah.
if not thousands of events. I feel like in huge audiences, small audiences, whatever, this felt so different.
Oh, listen, I can only imagine.
I mean, look, when I'm doing a presentation or a workshop or a training for an organization or a group or conference, I'm like practicing 2 weeks out, and it's
Hmm.
pretty low stakes. And I got a PowerPoint to back me up, and I'm just talking off the cuff.
And you know you can ad lib and it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
like, you got 10 minutes. You better you better hit your mark, say your words, and there's a flow to your thoughts.
Yeah,
You
that's
can't say
hard.
like or like, what was I going to say? Like there's not that human aspect to it.
You're literally putting on a performance. It's like an
Yeah,
intellectual performance.
totally. Totally.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
to scare anybody. Like say something that people won't be scared now.
Okay, so the other end of it is you're basically opening yourself up to global judgment by
Yeah.
everybody who watches it. No, I mean, you are, but I'm joking. That's not positive.
The good news is
Yeah,
that you're just
the, ent-
laying it all out there.
the entire world is going to judge your talk.
Complete vulnerability.
So the positive stuff is that I feel as if I have really uh, evolved as a speaker, and I feel very
Nice.
different. Whether the talk even came out or not, I felt very proud of myself. And being a part of the event is very special. You feel just this camaraderie with your other speakers. You feel like it's this, even though you're on stage alone, it's this big team effort. So my suggestion to anybody else too is that if you know the other speakers, or even if you don't, schedule Zooms with them, schedule times to talk to them, meet up, and create your own little support group. Share your talk with each other. practice together, trust each other in the process, because that is how I think we all got through it. It was encouraging each other. So that
That's
was a
so
really
cool.
beautiful part. And then it's really cool. You have this like an intellectual property, like it's just an instant credibility provider that you can share with
Hmm.
people all over. I do want to set some expectations though for people
Go
that
for
is
it.
like real, is that, like we said before, there are thousands of events going on all over the world, which means that there are thousands of TEDx talks being uploaded all over the world. And that means that your talk is going to be buried.
Hmm.
And TEDx's whole philosophy now, with because of how saturated it is that it's your job to promote. It's the speaker's job. And then once the algorithm picks it up, then great. Or you become an editor's pick, where the editors find it based on popularity or based on whatever, and then the editors highlight you on their YouTube and on their TED page. I think Nina, for example, who one of the guests that we had recently, for those who are listening, she was an editor's pick. So that means that they chose to highlight her.
Nice.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
totally up to you.
yeah, so it's like you can't go into it with the mentality that it's going to make you instantly viral just because you did a TEDx talk, right? It's
Right.
it's a tool.
It's a tool. It's
Yeah.
not a means to an end. And the reason I say that actually is that now that I know that, I don't think I would have felt the same amount of pressure going in.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I think it's up to me to market it. Not that I would have changed anything. It's just those feelings of like this immense, this is do or die. I got to do a great job. Maybe it was greatly motivating. I don't know. But at the same time, there was a lot of added stress and pressure that probably wasn't necessary.
Yeah. I talk about this concept that we have to let go of the idea that anything is an overnight success.
Mm,
And
yep.
maybe it's generational, right? Like we grew up with this idea that people had overnight successes, or you had a viral video and then like I just don't believe in any of that
Yeah.
anymore. I think
I mean,
it's
look at
all,
Bitcoin.
yeah, look at Bitcoin. Really.
No, I'm joking. Uh,
But it's all, it's like everything that you do in your business and your career and is you're chipping away over time.
yeah,
And the results that you have, it's like years of hard work. Nothing is ever overnight.
yeah. And every
Unless
opportunity leads
it's
into another
Bitcoin.
opportunity. Well, no, Bitcoin wasn't overnight. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to get defensive here. Bitcoin, it was at like zero, 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 zero,
Wait,
zero.
isn't Bitcoin like in the toilet right now? Or is that just crypto?
No. Oh my
Okay,
God.
Bitcoin
No.
is different than crypto.
Yeah, but all of crypto is doing well right now.
Oh, crypto's back.
Crypto's back, baby.
All
Um,
right, awesome.
Not that I'm
Like,
reaping any of the benefits of it because I don't have a time machine and I can't go back. Damn it. Um, so okay, yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where it does take a ton of practice. You're right, it's not an overnight, there's no overnight success with it. Everything's going to come with a ton of work. And
yeah.
you do have to promote it yourself. Also, there are lots of people, and no judgment. I mean, you do your thing, but there's lots of people. Like if you're seeing talks that have 1 million views, they're paying for those views.
Mm,
I know for a fact because these people have approached me and I've spoken to those speakers, and a lot of them, it's just like the only way to differentiate yourself is to pay for it, and it's expensive.
yeah, interesting.
So like I think I'm at like 1.8K right now, and like I'm happy with it's less than a month. I'm happy with that for right now. Hopefully
Yeah.
the algorithm picks it up.
It's so hard to differentiate like what is like what is BS and marketing versus like true popularity and it's just like the internet's just a weird place right now. Maybe it'll just gonna keep getting weirder.
It's like such a pay for play world. And I don't know if I
Hmm.
should be upset about that or just accept the reality and know that you have to bite the bullet, but it bothers me.
Yeah. Because you want it to be pure and authentic.
I think I'm
But
also a bad liar. And so like if I paid for 1 million views and
you
someone's like,
tell
yeah,
people,
I just saw your talk had 1 million views, I'd be like, Well, I paid, yeah, I paid for that.
Yeah, and these other scamster potatoes out there paying for stuff, and they are not telling people. They're just like, "Yep, it's because I'm awesome." Now buy this $900,000 coaching package from me, and people are like, "Oh, well, your TED Talk had 1 million views, so sure, here you go."
Yeah, I mean, I guess like I don't know if it's intended to listen, if I had 1 million real views and someone can guarantee me they're sending real viewers who are interested in the topic that way, then great. But if it's just bots or fake views, like that's not why you did it.
Yeah,
You did it because you wanted to help people and you want to share this information and this big idea. So I don't know, really stand behind your idea, have a lot of passion about it and know that whoever's going to see it is going to see it and is meant to see it, and you're going to share it with everybody.
and I like what you said too of like I think that there's so many people out there with wonderful ideas and have such great things to say, and they're so scared to say them because of whatever mental head trash that they have, that they just stay quiet, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we do need the good voices out
Yeah.
there. So I really actually like this whole concept of there's a lot of TEDx talks. So don't put that much, like work hard, but don't put so much pressure on yourself that you quit after it gets accepted, because
Yeah.
it's okay that it's it's not gonna like break records. Maybe it
Right.
does, maybe it doesn't. It's okay, but you're still expressing yourself and putting your ideas out there.
Totally. Totally. You may also want to you can look up past events, unless it's their first event. You can look up the TEDx San Diego, TEDx Rally, whatever it is. Look up their last videos and you can see what it was like last year for the other speakers. What did the stage look
Mm,
like? What did it feel
great
like?
advice.
How well was it filmed? How was the audio? So you can see how much money and time they're putting into it. Some stages and lighting looks incredible, and some are so-so.
Mm.
Some look like a gym, like some type of like a basketball gym with a red circle in the middle. And you know, you can kind of weigh how heavy it is and how serious it is based off that.
Cool. I think this was really, I hope this was helpful to
I hope so
people.
too. I hope so too.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm totally willing to talk to your friend. I also have a
She's going to come
friend.
on the pod too.
Oh, great. Was that who we just?
No, that was somebody
Oh,
else. You
okay.
know, I talk to people all day long.
Yeah.
This is just another friend.
Okay. I do know somebody who spoke at last year's TEDx rally.
Oh,
So if
nice.
you'd
It's
like,
Blake. I'm so sorry to mansplain to you, but it is Raleigh. It's not Rally.
this is what it feels like, isn't it?
This is what it feels like. I'm sorry. I hate it so much, but
Wow.
you have a co-host that's a Raleigh co-host, so you can't say Rally.
Iterative.
Let's iterate on this.
Raleigh?
It's Raleigh. Yeah.
Raleigh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. See? It
I don't know if
sucks,
you're right.
doesn't it?
I don't know if you're right. There's no evidence here.
There's no way to tell.
This is he said, she said. So I don't know if this is true. Anyway,
Is it Louisville? Also, it's Louisville
No.
and Raleigh.
Louisville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Louisville. Nolens. Nolens is it's not New Orleans.
Okay.
I'm traveled. I'm well traveled.
Listen, I didn't know a town in North Carolina before I moved here, so it's not a fault of your own.
I mean, don't spell it so it's hard to pronounce.
It is not a fault of yours. If this wasn't a common thing, I would never correct you live like this. This is not my brand.
Do you know the mayor?
Of
The mayor
of the mayor
Raleigh.
of Raleigh?
Yeah,
No,
I would like to
no,
talk
no,
to
the mayor. Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
where is your manager? No, okay, so Raleigh, I know it's someone who spoke at TEDx Raleigh, and she's incredibly helpful and love to talk to anybody. So if you'd like to, I can more than happy to connect your friend.
Okay, cool. Yeah, she'd love that.
Cool. Yeah, she'll give you the whole
Yeah.
experience. Well, anything else?
I don't know. I think we covered everything, really.
Go watch my TED Talk, please, so I can get to 1.9K views.
Let's do it.
And
And authentically get
yes,
to 1.9 thousand
the
views.
people, the people who actually care. It is called Why You Should Laugh and Play at Work, which, by the way, last little pointer, title, thumbnail, and description matter a ton.
Okay.
The keywords all day. Your thumbnail is very important. So whatever control you can have over that as a speaker, you control that because it is very important.
Like the picture they take when you're doing the talk.
Yes. And if they don't take pictures, if they don't ask if they have a photographer there, if not, hire a local photographer to take pictures of you.
See,
while
these
you're
are
on stage.
really good tips that nobody would know.
Yeah, totally. I'm just here to share the deets.
Just here to, you know,
Behind the scenes.
just
with
help
Blake
behind the
Cohen.
scenes. The hidden leader.
Damn. Maybe I might still do that one.
You
You
should.
never know. I do kind of like the God. I just got distracted by something. It's very annoying. Yeah, I do like that topic. I just want to flesh it out a bit more.
Okay. All right. I'm here to support you.
All right. Why you should laugh and play at work is the talk. Please Google or YouTube it. Google. We open the encyclopedia. Anyway, thank you all for listening to another episode of The Workplace Wonder. If you enjoyed the episode, please comment below, like, subscribe, 5 stars. Kara, anything else that you want to add?
I don't know. I was going to say something funny, but I want to say something sentimental because I like to promote and hype people up. That if you do have an idea and you're holding yourself back, just call us. We'll hype you up. You don't need to be scared of people. Don't try to compare yourself to the best version of yourself. Compare yourself to the mediocre people you see get successful. Whatever you need to do, that's a tactic. But
Love it.
Go have an idea worth spreading, you know?
Ooh.
Get up on that stage. Do it.
Bring the slogan in there.
Yeah.
The slogan.
The slogan.
I'm melting
Great.
today. Yeah, this is just not doing well today.
Oh God. All right.
Why don't we give everybody an action step then as
Okay.
well? That if any of our 2 or 3 listeners are made it this far in the podcast, why don't you, in the comment section, you don't have to commit to anything, but put in the comments, if you could give a TED Talk, what would your title be?
Love that. Love that journey for you.
Love that journey for you. All right, everyone. Have a good one. We'll see you later.